What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're listening to, you are tuning in to Crypto Street Podcast. If you didn't already know this, if you're just stumbling on us, give us the next 45 minutes of your time. You'll like it. Even though we got Canadian Princess on with us tonight.
Hopefully my connection's a little better for the listeners today. I know it was pretty atrocious last time, but moved the office around, got a new network set up, so fingers crossed, no dead zones, we're good.
Of all people, usually it's me that everyone's complaining about.
Yeah, it got pretty bad there the last few weeks. So, and that last episode was like a culmination of just this shit hitting the fan. So, today it's like a fresh start, new network. We're all good.
It sounds great so far.
Yeah, dude.
Last time it was like you said, it was like weather, the witch doctor neighbor.
Like well, just there's a lot of aspects. There was a lot of things going on. I don't really know what to think of them, and there's still some liabilities on that end. But yeah, we're here.
The stars were aligned, you could say.
Exactly.
It was not in your favor.
No.
So other than that, Prince, how you been?
I've been living, man.
What are we betting?
That's good.
I've been I don't know. I feel out of touch with.
You're still here.
Thank God you're not dead.
I'm still alive, but I feel a little out of touch with crypto right now because I've just been like face deep in spreadsheets and CFL stats, and it's Canadian football season, right? And everybody knows I like to gamble, so yeah, that's pretty much been my week so far. Just getting headfirst and all that, but
gotta go where the money can be made.
Yeah, well, CFL is fun. There's only 4 games a week and like 9 teams. You can just crush this shit. So
we got like a bit of a primer on the CFL like a week ago. I know more about it now than.
Oh, hey man, like odds makers fuck this shit up a lot. Like they don't get lines right very like there's a lot of issues they have. So, but anyways, yeah, that's this isn't a sports betting podcast. This is a crypto.
What you been up to?
Chilling, man. Living life as well. Still not dead either. Markets are yeah.
We're all alive.
As we we're the most live.
So cool.
The markets are just as of like starting this recording, we're starting to peep upwards like towards 13K again. So I'm getting pretty optimistic and pretty bullish. Need some more confirmation. Haven't really gone anywhere meaningful yet, but certainly better than that purgatory around like 11.5, 11.2 that we were hanging out for a while.
Not gonna try and jinx us because I know Nomad will probably say we're the reason it dies if it does. But yeah, it's things are kind of starting to look up in my opinion. We got this Litecoin halving coming up in August. I think I've said it before. I think that's going to kind of spur some things, but we'll kind of get to that stuff later. Tonight we're joined with Josh Man Mode is his Twitter. It's at Josh Man Mode. He dabbles in the futures trading market and does a bunch of other stuff. You should really check him out on Twitter. He's a pretty funny follow. And all that. So, Josh, what's up?
And all that. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
What's a good word tonight? What do you think?
Well, I don't tweet much about crypto because I don't trade it very often, just sporadically. Because I'm kind of busy and it's like the side gig that I decided to mess around with. But they're not going anywhere, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I know you had tweeted something earlier today.
I don't.
Dead.
I think they're gonna kind of take a dive, but I'm always saying stuff like this, and it never happens, and I'll get wrecked. I don't have a margin account. I can't short the crypto account that I have, so I'm kind of limited. I don't know. Honestly, I know nothing about the space. I mean, I've talked to a few people, about what it is and how. I know some basic mechanics of, what cryptocurrency actually is versus what Bitcoin and the altcoins are. Yeah. But I don't trade in real, quote unquote, real trading. I don't trade off fundamentals much, and I definitely don't trade off of any fundamentals in crypto. It's all just the basic technical stuff that I've done in other markets. That I've had I say some success. We're talking like pennies. I'm just screwing around. It's nothing, no serious amount of money. And I keep tweeting like, yeah, when Bitcoin gets to like 4,000, I'll buy quote unquote real Bitcoin. As in, I'll put some money in there and I'll do the hodl thing. But
Oh God.
I think the fair price is like $150. I'll buy a lot out of 150.
Whoa.
You're gonna have
Oh,
some people
God.
And that's
riled
all
up
for
on
tonight,
that.
everybody.
Everyone's like, that's it. This is bullshit.
They're turning it off
You're
right
just-
now.
yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right, fuck this
Breaking
guy. Let's
stuff,
move on.
breaking stuff. No, I don't know. I have no idea about what fair value is. I mean, obviously, it's what the market thinks it is right now. So
Mhm.
I don't have a clue. But I think Bitcoin. Again, I don't follow it closely. I mean, I check the price every day just because it's up on the screen here and there. But Bitcoin's kind of just grinding higher. There's not really anything stopping it. Alts are going nowhere, and they've had the chance to go up. They're in the same, in my opinion, same relative area, but they can't clear some of the stuff that's in the way. And it's just like, not that it has to go down, but it's not going up. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're going to see Bitcoin kind of. Honestly, Bitcoin could stay here or go a little higher. I'm not sure. It could take a dive as well. I think alts are going to wipe for a bit and then come back, and then they'll be strong. But I don't know. Nobody trade what I say, please, God. Don't listen.
This is
Don't
not
lose
financial
money.
advice.
No, God Almighty, no.
So let's just give a little, everyone that's listening, maybe that doesn't follow you for some surprising reason. Let's give just a little background on yourself and what you kind of do.
Yeah, so quick and dirty is I'm a pilot by trade. I'm still in the aviation industry. I got into markets years and years ago, even in college, did like stock trading. Didn't really do anything serious with it. Probably 6 or 7 years ago, started to kind of like get back into it, just stocks. And that evolved into triple leveraged ETFs, which is a disaster. Please, nobody ever trade.
I got some horror stories. On
Oh
that.
my God, I could tell you just the most ridiculous things. And of course, it's always the time where you know absolutely nothing. You get into like products.
Yeah.
And so I made like $500 the first day. I'm like, this is awesome. And then I lost 40% of my account the next day on oil. I didn't understand,
Yeah.
It's like if you lose 40%, like how much you have to get back? Like a lot more than 60%. So
Yeah.
and so I took a nice bath in that. And then eventually I learned options. Kind of that was like the next real transition. So I did that for a while without any real commitment, I guess I'll say. I was more interested in it and I tried to learn, but I was really just screwing around. I wasn't taking it actually seriously. So I took some time off, decided if I wanted to try the trading thing seriously. I did a bunch of research and I just decided to go with futures because there's a lot of benefits there. Obviously,
Yeah.
market accessibility, margin requirements, capital outlay is very, very low. Options are too, but options are harder, in my opinion, than outright contracts. Plus, you have the tax benefit, which was still there. So futures are good for me. Honestly, I think they're great products. Obviously, just like anything leverage, it can be, you can get yourself in trouble depending on what you're doing. But I think they're a lot easier than options. It's better to trade. And so I kind of started with equity option or equity futures and then kind of slowly moved to a little bit of everything depending on what I thought was good for the strategy that I was using. So I probably traded anywhere from 12 to 15 markets, not every day, but just off and on, depending on what was setting up. And so obviously crypto's been around and I've never traded it until very recently. And I just have I had to put a small amount of money in there just to see what it's like, how it moves. And I haven't really made my mind up yet. It seems like it responds decently, technically. It's not just doing nothing, but I haven't really put a lot of, like I said, a lot of oomph behind, is it really going to pay out as far as the way I'm trading? So I'm here. It's honestly more of a social thing. I'll be real honest. Everyone's doing it. I'm like, I want to do it. Let's just see what it's like. Like if I can moon some coins, like I'll be like, yeah, I was there for that. But I'm probably just going to like grind it down, which is fine. I mean, not that I like losing money, but
what's going to actually happen, just like everything else when you get peer pressured, is pretty soon in a year we're going to be coming back and your profile is going to be like family pirate, full-time crypto trader, degen. I mean, it's going to be insane.
You have a cartoon character as your avatar.
Yeah, you're no longer called Josh, you're called something else.
Yeah, I need like Bitcoin eyes like ASAP after this podcast.
What was it that like? Was there any kind of like point where it was like you were kind of just on the sidelines watching crypto, and then you were like, okay, you know what? It's time to just like maybe check this out for real. Was there an actual like point where you were
So this is a funny story. I'll tell this, and I won't say anything else. I won't say the place, but I actually I actually got someone to fund me an account as a pro crypto trader because I said I was a pro futures trader, which is true. And so someone gave me money to trade in this space. So that's why I'm in this space.
Oh,
So
wow.
it sounds cool and exotic, but it's really not. So that's how I officially, because I wasn't going to like put any significant amount of money into it. I might have opened an account with like $500 or $1,000, similar to what I have now. It's not a lot of money. It's just to screw around. I think they really wanted to diversify what they're doing.
Mhm.
I'm not going to state the name of the place, but that's how I decided, or officially decided, to start doing this. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of seeing how it goes. Here for the ride.
You mentioned earlier, you said you don't trade anything on fundamentals. I saw a tweet by Beast. I don't know if you're familiar with him on Twitter, but he was saying the biggest mistake he's ever made in trading was thinking that fundamentals matter. And I think I've kind of gone that path a little bit too. So what kind of led you to that conclusion?
Right. So I'll say this, and I think I don't give trading advice, but I think this is pretty good general trading advice, is no one can really tell you how to trade. And by that, I mean, I'm not the most experienced trader, but I've been around long enough to know some I believe are absolute truths. And if someone says fundamentals don't work, they're just, I don't say they're lying, but it just doesn't work for them. Same for me. Like, I just can't, the way my brain works, the way my personality is, the way markets look to me, I just can't make sense of it enough to make it actionable for myself. I know people, and if I'm real honest, the best traders I know use a combination, so they don't ignore either side. They're good at reading the fundamentals into the price and trading off of price action. Technically, I can't do that. I'm just not. I don't know if the word's smart, but I'm just not. I'm not. It probably is a little bit of experience, but I just can't trade like that. So if someone that says the biggest mistake I made is trading on fundamentals, does crypto trade on fundamentals? I don't know. Someone might say, yeah, it does. It really does. And you can't. I wouldn't tell them they're wrong, because even spaces that I know a lot about, I've never been successful at trading just off pure fundamentals, because I need a pretty good right and wrong, like line, and it's hard to do that with fundamentals, in my opinion. You can really trip yourself up. Again, it doesn't mean it can't work for somebody else. So I know people that trade 100% off fundamentals, as the primary source of like triggering trades, exiting trades, and they use basic market structure and price for some confirmation on entry and exit, but they're primarily a fundamental trader, and they clean up. I mean, it's just not in crypto, but there are people that do that. So for me, crypto is its own thing, but I think a lot of people make the mistake to think it's like very unique. Sure, it's a unique product. I would never dispute that, but I think people think it's like no market ever before, and I think that's kind of naive. It's all still people trading it and machines trading it. It's the same. It's relatively similar. And maybe you guys could, rebut that and say, no, it's actually not the same. I'd learn something, but I mean, it's still people clicking buttons or people programming buttons to be clicked. So I think the fundamentals are hard to, it seems like a very complex system. From the outside looking in, it seems absolutely ridiculous. That's why I don't even try and read anything. I'm like, there's so many coins and this and that, and you said like halving. It's like, I think of like Half-Life gaming. I'm like, I don't know what the heck's going on. Like half the coins going away, or half the mining. Something about mining, I think. I don't even know. But I think it's, for me, this market, looking from the little that I know, it seems like the fundamentals would be very difficult to grasp. Very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yes, some guys get it. That's the thing about crypto and fundamentals. It's like, it's such a weird, to me, it doesn't, especially with shitcoins. It's like, how does that even line up? This thing, what the hell is the fundamental on this thing? There isn't any. But
no, would agree.
You know, at the same time, like you said, I know some guys in the space who they don't really even look at charts to trade, and they're extremely profitable off it. And they're like, "Oh, it's fundamentals, man." It's like, and it's so yeah, kind of echoing what you said. I don't know how the hell they do it. I'm not one to even mention really. I just fundamentals and shitcoins. It just doesn't really go together. But yeah, no, I definitely get that.
I think it probably like kind of it matters like your time horizon too, because I think over a long enough time horizon they absolutely do matter, but we're talking like multiple years probably, if not like a decade or two. But you're gonna miss everything. But who has a time horizon of like 20 years? Who's like, I'm not gonna take anything out of this until I retire? It's ridiculous. But I think there could be some validity to that on a long enough time horizon.
Yeah, possibly. I could never do that, but that's cool if someone can. That's awesome. Please take my money and trade it for me.
I think we had him on the show at Startail. Roy, he's in my opinion, he's the best when it comes down to like guys who can trade off fundamentals in crypto. But yeah, again, to me, it's kind of it's a very thin group of people, I would actually say, that can do it. So. But I'm curious now, as legacy market futures, have you dabbled in the Bitcoin futures at all over the CME
I did.
ones?
When they first came out, I did trade them. I don't anymore just because there's just it's bad liquidity. Relatively speaking, I don't like. I shouldn't say bad. I trade gasoline sometimes, and that's bad. It's thin as thin can be. And people will like talk about like crypto spikes. You should, anyone that like go back and watch like the Colonial Pipeline burst and like replay the gasoline that night. It was like ridiculous. Like pro traders got like completely obliterated. Like 20-year pros got like sent home the next day. So I trade some thin stuff, and I have. The biggest thing that I like the CME idea because I can still see the market depth and stuff like that, which is on the exchange I'm using now. I don't have all that stuff. It's more of like and I don't know where it compares to as far as tools, but do you guys like, if you guys are trading, I don't know what exchange you guys are using, or they even call them exchanges? It's exchange. Don't delete that part. Can you see like market depth? Can you see orders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting a raw deal. Worst pro crypto trader in the history of the world. Doesn't know what's going on. So I guess I liked it. That was before. So I traded it when it was at like 5,600 for a while here and there. And all I did was scalp. I did not do, because again, the margin was very high. It was like 22 grand, for like maintenance. And I was just like, I'm not interested in putting up that kind of money overnight, like over the weekend. Like, are you kidding me? And you couldn't have paid me money to hold those trades.
Well, and that was, to me, that's the thing that I've always been curious about, because I've never dabbled in those the CME futures, but it's like the thing where you can't trade them over the weekend, yet the entire market is still active during the weekend is such a hazard. It's like,
oh, massive. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't trading it at these times, but there was, when it was selling off big time, coming down, even into like the 35s, and like it would gap down like 1,000 points, or whatever. And it's like, that's freaking crazy, man. I'm not holding anything. So I would scalp. I probably took, I don't want to over exaggerate, 10, 15 trades here and there, just all scalps, literally. And what I was doing is I was kind of testing how it worked with the strategy that I already used, and it didn't respond great. It kind of traded, to be honest, like bonds to me, which I know doesn't make sense, but at the time it was like, it would move when it wanted to move, and that was kind of it. It didn't respond to much that I used in other markets that I thought similar processes work decent across different markets. So it just didn't really have a good calling for me at the time. I think it moves better now. Obviously more participants. But yeah, should have bought some at 3,000. I was very close to opening an account and purchasing. It's easy to say now, but like I said, I really wanted it to be like 1,500, and I would have bought a whole ton. And now I was just waiting for. I may always make the same mistake. Always be too conservative, and then when you're not conservative enough, you get completely obliterated. Just kind of the way trading goes. But Yeah, I haven't traded the future since. Like I said, they might be better now. I haven't looked at them. Not sure.
So let's say you're pulling up something, like you're pulling up a chart, something you intend to trade. Like, what are the first things you look at, or what kind of indicators are on your chart, or just kind of walk us through that process?
Yeah, so I mean, generically, my eyes just kind of glance around at the higher time frames first. If I'm looking at something for the first time, I'll, just like kind of what a lot of people do, use like, I don't really look too much at monthly because the space is so new. It doesn't really, in my opinion, yield too much. Here and there, it depends. If you're looking at opens or closes of candles, I think there can be some action there. But mainly looking at weekly, daily, and then hourly charts. And really, my strategy that I've used for the last 2 years on everything I've done trading is really just a confluence based. I don't use any indicators per se. I really only use volume profile in conjunction with. It's really the simplest way to put it is just using low volume areas on multiple time frames, in addition to like opens and closes of different periodicities. So that might sound kind of confusing, but basically I just count different places, and if I get a high score on the way that I kind of rank where I think strength would be for reactions, that's all I'm really looking for. I'm looking for a level or a zone that I think will produce a reaction, just like everybody is, not rocket science. And I just rank it and I try and trade the highest score. It's really just a basic 1 through 5. I won't trade anything lower than a 3. A 5 is like what I would consider a slam dunk. And I don't find too many of those often in crypto. So I don't trade any of the proverbial poop coins. I'm mainly just focusing on the ones I think are actually tradable, because other ones to me act like penny stocks. It's like, sure, it could go up like a million points, but it's just it doesn't interest me. And that is probably because I have a low capital allocation. If I had more money, sure, I might be screwing around in there too. But primarily, I'm just trading like the main, like 3 or 4 bigger names. So Ethereum, some Ripple, some Bitcoin here and there, maybe some Bitcoin Cash, whatever. Again, I do the same process where I look at what I think is going to give me the best reaction all across any market. If I see something decent, I'll try and trade it. But again, I can only trade it long, and so it's tricky. I don't like that personally, just because I see some opportunities both ways. But it is what it is. Like I said, I can't complain. I just got in there for just because. So, but yeah, that's mainly what I'm looking at. I'm basically looking at, it's like a confluence of where I think the best. It doesn't have to be the lowest low volume, no, but where I think the best chance is for a reaction is.
So like low volume, you're just like looking for an inflection point, basically.
Yep. Yeah. And so a lot of people look for, I'd say there's 2 kind of types of traders, and some people use variation of it as far as execution. Some people look for like confirmation before they put positions on. Some people just put orders in, and then, I don't want to say they have to see confirmation, but they put orders in ahead of. So that's what I'm doing, the latter. I'm putting orders in ahead of seeing the price tested. So I have a little bit of, call it price risk or whatever. I don't know how it's going to react, but if it reacts well in my favor, I get a good entry price. So it's neither way is, I would say, better or worse. It just depends how you want to trade it. So I think the strengths to my strategy are, when it works really freaking well, and if it doesn't work, I know very quickly it's not working, and it sounds great to say out loud. The only thing I'll add to that is I do a real bad job sometimes of listening to myself and getting out. So I'll take bad, something I know is not working, I'll just kind of sit on it, which is, amateur and stupid if you're trying to trade things seriously. And it can, especially the crypto space too, because I think it's different. It's a different crowd. Not that it's a bad thing, but you have this like everyone that's trading crypto has this like internal, because it's just a cultural thing, internal like, oh, I can hold this thing. So if someone comes into a trade like, oh, I'm just going to scalp this, and it goes against them, they say, oh, I'll just hold this. I think that's like especially dangerous in this space, because like I said, everyone's just joking around all the time, like, oh, hodl. And so it's easy to like wrap your mind around that when that wasn't your initial plan. So I don't do that, just because I just kind of try and trade the way the way I know, but I could see that maybe maybe you guys can comment on that. I could see that being an issue for some people. So yeah, I just try and trade with that.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I 100% agree. I think the HODL term is like it's a rather toxic terminology.
Especially for new traders, that don't know anything.
Yeah.
They can really get screwed bad.
Yeah, they'd have gotten wrecked here in 2018,
destroyed.
like totally destroyed.
You'd have no money left. You'd be down. Yeah.
Yep.
So, like risk management wise, do you have like a defined stop loss or like a zone in mind, or is it position sizing, scaling in and out? Like, how do you kind of handle when it doesn't go well?
Good question. It's all based on the zone that I have. So it's kind of an ambiguous answer, but it depends. So some setups will be very defined where I know I can have a stop below a certain point, and I don't mind putting a stop there. And it is what it is. Other places, if it's like a really strong area, but it's a little bit wider, I might try and scale in. I will say personally, I do the best. I trade the best based on my past performance when it's very simple. You look back and it looks very simple. So when I think about adding, and I've made so many mistakes on so many markets of doing the same thing, like thinking basically not trying to be too cute, but thinking like, oh, I can scale in and scale out of this trade because it's a zone. But what if the market just disrespects the whole thing? Then what do you do? Yeah. And I don't mean that to be like a naive thing. Yes, you should think about if the trade doesn't work, what are you going to do? Where are you going to put your stop? But for me, like I said, because I add orders in ahead of seeing the market test the price, I'm anticipating at least because I'm putting orders there. Not that I'm cocky enough to say, oh, the market has to respond to me, but I mean, I trade often and I trade different markets, and usually I'm expecting something. So if it just doesn't blink and goes through the area that I'm trading, it should be a big red flag to say, hey, get out. But if I don't get out, for some reason, or because a lot of times, even in futures, I don't put stops in the market. I have like an emergency stop, but I do the same thing in crypto so far. As I haven't put like hard stop orders in, and probably a good thing because there's been a few like minute meltdowns, and I haven't actually been in for any of those, luckily, which is good. But it really depends on the zone. And I'll try, especially in this, because I'm being pretty conservative. The position sizing is so small that if something goes against me wildly, it's not going to hurt too bad. And if I need to get out and just take a whack, then I do that. I haven't so far. So far, I shouldn't say this. I'm almost 100%, but it's been so. I say that with like such reservation because it's been so conservative. I've only probably done 10 total trades. Maybe 9. I think I maybe took one loss. I'd have to go back and look at it. It was one of those things where I averaged in once, and I was probably below on one of them. But again, I'm not a trading noob, but I haven't traded this crypto stuff much, so I'm being ultra conservative.
I think just based on what you're saying, it seems like you have a pretty good read on it. That's kind of been my take, is that like stops are a little bit dangerous in crypto because, those like crazy wicks in either direction can just destroy you. And you have people in the markets who are targeting those areas specifically. And I think it's too much of a risk. I think like it's all about position sizing. And, some people will swear by them. So that works for them. But for me, it doesn't really fit my personality, and it kind of leads to more trouble than it's worth in most cases, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. I put a tweet out like a while back, and it wasn't. I didn't address it as a crypto tweet, but it was a crypto tweet. So the big thing about coming to this space is I'm not trading any leverage at all. It's no leverage, So it was like very weird. It's like, so if it goes down like $100, I don't have to close the trade, or 200. Like if I there's no margin, So it's like, all right, hold on, this is like a stock now. So if it goes down 50%, I'm still in the trade. So it's kind of it was like almost weird to get back into it. That might sound silly, but again, because the position sizing I'm using is so small, hopefully people out there don't think, oh, I don't have to use stops. Figure out what you need to do. But I kind of would agree, because the position sizing I'm using is so small and it's not leveraged. I don't need to put stops in. It's not gonna. Again, I'll have an emergency stop in there. Like way below. I'm talking like so that doesn't go to zero without me knowing about it. But that's pretty rare. I would say it would be way outside any area that would be targeted. Again, non-leverage. It's like I don't know. It's a little bit different. I think people that have a lot of money in there, relatively speaking, for how they trade and using like high position limits, even though it's not leveraged, you're still at risk. Still at risk to, if you put it like you said, if you put a stop in there, you're pretty much. I don't say you're going to guarantee to get whacked, but you're going to get whacked. It's going to happen. Like, it's naive to think you won't get stopped out at the bottom of some trades. Like, it's going to happen. So yeah, sure, you could not put a stop in and it could go straight down from 13,000 to 3,000, and you could be mad and still manually stop out there too. There's no guarantees. Basically, you just have to find something that you can read price and try and execute halfway decent, and see if you can come out ahead. Other than that, it's hard to tell people what to do. You just have to figure it out for yourself.
Do you find like the more traditional markets to be boring now that you've dabbled in crypto a little bit, or is it still like kind of weird enough where you're not even sure?
No, it's definitely people. I think if people traded futures from crypto, they'd be like, "Holy crap! Forget this crypto thing. I'm going to futures." Personally, just again because of the leverage. So, I mean, I don't know how. I guess you can do leverage in crypto, right? Can you do like 10 times? Oh, you can. Okay,
Oh,
so,
Up to 100.
It can get pretty out of control. Yeah.
okay, so then they probably don't. They're not going to get bored. Because I mean, you could day trade. You could day trade the ES for $500 a contract, which is something stupid like 340%. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely out of control. Nobody really does that, but if you really wanted to, you could put on you could put 20 grand in there, have a great time with a 40 lot. Just like it's going to move real fast, especially if you have big price action moving. So, no, I don't find it boring. I don't find regular markets boring. I mean, now I do. Nothing's happening in them at all. But especially over the big thing that I like about traditional markets is scheduled volatility. That's the biggest thing that I like. So you have news releases. You have people complain about Trump tweets and you don't know about them in advance. Yeah, that's true. But you have like economic releases and crop reports and all this stuff that there's going to be people paying attention to. In crypto, you don't have that. Like, so you mentioned like the Litecoin halvening or whatever. That might be some area. I don't know if it's happening at a specific time, like such and such time and so many seconds. It might be. I don't know. But that's what I wish the crypto markets had. Like commitment of crypto traders or whatever you want to call it. Because I think I do well usually traditionally in those periods, just because I have areas that I've outlined ahead of time. If the market doesn't trade it, actively or it's not running around for liquidity, then no sweat. Don't trade it. But a lot of times I've had some just out of the park trades at those times. I'm kind of overselling myself because other times I trade like garbage and lose lots of money. So, but my point is, yeah, I don't think traditional markets are boring for myself personally.
I think it's interesting because like the people you speak with, I don't know how many people you speak with who do like similar legacy market trading as you do. Is crypto like on their radar at all, or
no, it's
nada?
I talk to a lot of pro traders, like routinely. So a lot of them daily. And I could, of all the people that I know that are full-time futures traders, I think 0 of them have done anything in crypto at all. Maybe some of them have like bought Bitcoin. Actually, I know one guy, Snark on Twitter. He's a big crypto guy from way back. I think he made some decent trades in it like real early on, like from when it was like $200 to $300. Like he made some serious coin. Hopefully he doesn't get upset for me saying that. But anyways, I don't know if he made a lot of money, but he traded it pretty actively, and I don't know if he does anymore. He's a commodity guy. But other than him, I mean, nobody really. No, like I said, none of the traditional futures guys are really into it. They have their own thing, so they're not. Not that they've mentioned to me. I mean, for all I know, they could be like going freaking crazy in it, and I don't know because I haven't asked them specifically. But that's not my sense. Even for myself, I mean, I just like know nothing about the space. I don't know. Like I'll trade some agricultural markets, some ag markets, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm the same. Yeah, man, ags are freaking. You want to have fun? Go trade some hogs or something. You freaking go out of your mind. Um, I'm very reserved in those as well because I don't know. Those markets are so complex. I mean, very complex. And I'm very careful on how I put trades on in there because there's just people, and not that there aren't people that are smart in other markets, but there's just a lot happening in there, tons of stuff. And I'm just not keyed in on nearly as much as I am in other markets. So I'm pretty reserved. That's kind of how I feel with crypto. It's like, there's lots of pieces I don't, I might have heard of, but it's just like, not that I'm trading off fundamentals, but just, I read something and I'm like, didn't even know that existed, didn't even know what that was. So obviously I'm not going to be like going nuts, putting a ton of money in something that I don't really have at least eyes on what. So again, I don't trade off fundamentals for equities and, interest rate futures and, the VIX and stuff like that. I don't trade off, but I'm aware of most of the pieces that are going on there. I understand what they mean. I do not place trades on those ideas, but I at least am aware. In this market, I'm not, so I'm pretty reserved.
Josh, what do you think for more pro traders to really look at crypto? What do you think needs to happen?
That's a good question. I think to be honest, I think more products developed in futures spaces to kind of get people bridged, maybe like one or two more, or maybe 3 or 4 or 5 more. I'm not sure if they'd get enough traction for the CME or maybe ICE to go after it. I think having, I don't know. I don't even know if this is a thing or if maybe it's already a thing and I don't know, but like cash, I don't know if you call them ETFs, but cash equivalent, I guess they'd have to be ETFs or ETNs, for individual place. And I know that's in talks and I don't know if it's been approved or whatever, but something similar to get more people. Because for me, like, I'll give a good example. Like for the longest time, I didn't even know. It seemed very complicated even to set up an account. It's like, how do I make an account? Like, it's like transfers. Like all I heard was like Binance and transfer from Bitcoin to your wallet to all alt season. And I was just like, dude, that's so much work. I want to be able to like look at the same screen I'm looking at now and like click the different button. And so it didn't. When I looked at, I'd look at random charts and say, nothing really enticing me to be like, oh, wow, it's free money over here. I'm going to like open accounts and go nuts. So I think that was happening previously, obviously. And that would have probably incentivized me to be more serious about making an account. But I think getting more like actually pro traders, probably what you need is like real institutional adoption. You need people that are buying it on a desk somewhere. Someone important's buying it, someone's eventually going to start paying attention. I don't know if that's happening now or not. I have no idea. I couldn't. You guys probably know.
Do you think that since it's the market's traded 24/7, 365, do you think that turns pro traders off a little bit?
I mean, I'm sure a little bit, but I don't think that's a real deterrent because I mean, futures trade almost 24/7, FX trades almost 24/7, and if you really wanted to be out of the risk of price, just get out before the weekend. I don't think. I think the people that would be in for the long term are going to not mind the weekend risk, even if they're not at the desk, because they're probably positioned correctly, and also they probably have the capital to be not scared of. A bank isn't scared of price movement on the weekend. Not really. I shouldn't say that. It's probably naive. But for the most part, they'll just like a big commercial speculation or someone hedging in any kind of commercial commodity, they're not worried about the price, really. I mean, they're worried about not on a micro scale of between a couple of days. If crude drops $5, they don't care. That doesn't faze them. So I don't think that's a deterrent for someone that's like serious. If there was a bank involved, that they don't care probably of the weekend risk or whatever you want to call it. Someone like me, I'm going to get out. I'm not going to. If I can watch the market all weekend, maybe I would, but it wouldn't be my ideal situation. So I don't think that's a major deterrent, but that's kind of a guess, to be honest.
No, yeah, I understand. Anything else? We've kind of taken your allotted time. So anything else you want to share before we wrap up here?
I don't know. I'd like to make some money, so if someone can start buying these things, it'd be great.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. And I think, a lot of them are probably going to say, well, you have all these pro trader friends or know these professional traders. Why don't you go out and shill this stuff to them?
Yeah, they would laugh in my face.
We just need more money coming in. We just need their money. Yeah, tell them to come in, buy it up.
Buy it up.
We'll set some bid or some sells. Don't worry.
Yeah. You guys are all long? What do you guys trade?
I'm kind of, I'll trade whatever is my fancy at the time, right? I'll go long, short. Haven't really dabbled in altcoins a whole lot. It's mainly just been trading Bitcoin.
Nice.
Bitcoin and Ethereum. And Ethereum is an alt, so I can't. I was lying. But yeah. So really, those are what I'm trading for the most part. But those are, it's through futures, BitMEX and Deribit, and then a little bit of options too, and all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think if we can get over 13.2 and stay there for close above it or stay there for a while, I think we could run with this. But
I haven't been in any leveraged positions since even the last episode, which was not last week but the week before. So yeah, I haven't really made any trades in this time. I've kind of just been sitting on my hands.
I just been buying up more ARDORs, so ARDR, but that's what I do. I'm a big dumb idiot, but what do you do?
Dale loves his poop coins.
I love my poop coins.
Proverbial poop coins.
Well, Josh. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Bitcoin tried to go down and it didn't. Which again, it's like real simple idiot analysis, but it's just not going down. So you can't really, in my opinion, be short with any serious conviction right now.
It's literally as easy as it needs to be too with Bitcoin. It's like, what? It's just not going down. So
I really thought we were going to test like 92 again, 91, and it front ran that by a good bit. Relatively a good bit, and it just it's been straight up since. So it's like, I don't know if it's gonna rip up to 20,000. My ultimate call is it's going to go to like 16.5, and then it's going to decide from there what it wants to do. It could have a big retrace after that. It could sit there. It could rip up. I don't know, but I think it'll get to 16.5. Please do not, God. I shouldn't have said that. Don't buy it because I said that. Okay, I don't trade the stuff often, but I don't think that high that's been in there is really going to hold the market. Just again, it's not going down at all.
Heard it here first, folks.
Hey, you can all pay me your commission when it hits. So that'll be $4,000 each. So take 50%. It's reasonable. Hey, it's a reasonable commission. Anyways, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It was good. I'm glad. I don't know how or why you said yes at the time I asked you, but you did, and it's been great.
Honestly, I thought it would be funny because you guys would ask me all the stuff, and I didn't know what the format was going to be, and I was going to be like, "Yeah, no, I never heard of that," and it just would have been a good laugh. And I was also like, "Yeah, maybe I'll learn a few things too." But you guys were nice. You guys were gentle.
Good.
Tried.
Well, thanks again. Thanks everyone for listening. For Whale Prince and myself, Hootskis with the boys, Tip the Waitress. Take care, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you later.